Welcome everybody to the weekly share of the Zera Shimshon, and we're gonna have in Mikeitz also, but it's Chanukah, and I wanted to make a mazel tov to myself and my family, and especially Shmuley and Nomi, that they had a boy. Baruch Hashem, we don't know the name yet. The bris is Be'ez Hashem next week, so they have a Chanukah boy. So. This is a piece from the Zera Shimshon. It's actually Chavav, which is the Shem Havaya, right? 26. It's Chavav Kislev, Tavshin Pei Dalet. And it's Leil Chamishi, which is the night, actually Leil Shishi, which is the night before Erev Shabbos. So I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. Now, I'm just going to give a warning, ladies. This might not, you might not like what the content of this, but just hold on. It comes out really nice. Okay, be'inyan yisur malacha shenagas anashim b'Chanukah. Okay, in reference to the minhag that the women don't work in when it's candle lighting. Okay, there's different minhagim. So when we say on Leil Shabbos, Eishes Chayim, we say the pasuk Tenu La, we give to her mi pri yada, from the fruits of her hand. Now this is a little difficult to understand. But the kasha hari pri yada kfar heim shalah. First of all, whatever she does, whatever she works, it's hers. Okay, that what's shaykh to say that we give it to her? Okay, and furthermore, what does it mean? Mi pri, ma'am is always a miut. What do you mean? From the work of her hands, the mashma mixas meham v'loiklum. Not only a part of what she gets, and not all of it. Now, what's that? Lama dafka b'sharim yahalalu. In the end of the pasuk is. And in the gateways, in the gates, they will praise her. So now the other places, only in the sharim. Okay, besides that, there's other women that don't work the whole night. Okay. There's others that are machmir not to work the whole first day and the last day. Yesh machmiris yaser, and there's more chumras that you can find. There's always more chumras. Okay, but pligi achreinim im minhag, and the achreinim are arguing whether it's a real minhag or not. But im yesh lahakal lehem, if you can. And you could look in the Shulchan Aruch, Taf Reish Ayin, in the Magid Avram there. Okay. Well, hey, it's tzad svura leima shabal im yirtze yochel achayfa la'asais malacha. But you could say mitzad asura, but the husband can force her to do some work if he needs to. Shahari kishen noisi namazaynais ma'isi adel shalai. When he supplies her with, that's his obligation, to give mizaynais to his wife, right, to support her. Food and clothing, right? So it's a deraisa, guys. Okay, she's not allowed to be machmer on herself to cause a loss to the husband. If she wants to be machmer on herself, the husband cannot just withhold the food and whatever. This is a Shulchan Aruch. I'm not saying this. I'm not chumras here. This is Siman Pei Hey. You can look it up in Shulchan Aruch. Siman Sif Tes Vav. They call Isha Shetimna Milases Malacha Mi Malachas Hi Chayavis Lasaisam. Any woman that prevents or withholds from doing the jobs that she's supposed to be doing for her husband and the family, of course. Kaifi Moiselasais. Then we actually force her to do that, to do those things. And then we don't give her any food until she complies. That's the Shulchan Aruch, by the way. Okay, it's not me saying that. Okay, Aval Hataz in Orach Chaim and Siman Taf Reish Ayin says the Dima Din Chanukah LeDin Reish Chodesh. He compares the din, if they're not allowed to work on Chanukah to the din of Rish Chodesh. Now we know that din of Rish Chodesh also they're not allowed to work for certain things. Ubidin Rish Chodesh Kasav Abach, it's Simon Taf Yud Zayin. He writes that she'enam asuris b'malacha elamachmas minag. They're only prohibited to do work because of a minag. Okay, minag. Aval ha'isur hu al ba'aleim she'enam yacholim lachufay some of the malacha. But there's a prohibition on the husband. They can't force him to do the work either. So this is a real strong minag. Bim kain hu adin af b'Chanukah. So the same thing applies to Chanukah. Mikol shekein l'svaras abach gufay she'en lahakel lehem itam dvorim hamutarim. Okay, and you can't prohibit them. That is the svara of the Bach is that it's the comparison between the Isser because of a minhag, so you can't force them to do anything. Therefore, it can't be mako. Like there's a concept of dvorim mutorim, things that are prohibited, are permitted rather, and others are noyig bohem Isser. Don't tell them. L'chein Omar HaKasav Tanula mi priyodel. We'll go back to the pasuk then Mishlei. Tanula, we give to her mi priyodel. Tanula b'mezainos. You give it to her mezainos afal pisha eino isa malacha, even though she's not doing the work. Okay, lefisha ma'asel heim mehali ma'isa kebesharim, because her jobs that she does. Okay, she's washing the dishes, she's doing the laundry, she's whatever, making the beds. All these things that she has to do, she's cooking, anyway, and baking, and they're praising her in all the other places. That is, for example, where does Sha'arim over here? There's the gateways of the Meir Chanukah that's a mitzvah to put it on the tefach that's next to the opening of the door. Okay. Ve'ikar hanes nasa al yedei Isha. Okay, Yehudis. The fisha lo yorabe einay habal yitain lo mezainas chinam. It doesn't. The husband's not going to feel bad. He's not giving her food for nothing. Like the rest of the day, she's working her tuchas off. Mishum hachi omar priyadar. Therefore, it says from the fruit of her hand. But davka nakam mi priyadar v'loy mimaisel yadel. It says davka from the fruit of her hand, not from the deeds of her hands. Okay, that's some diuk. Mishum the ksubas. It says in the Gemara ksubas Amrinim mahi oisaloi mishkal chamish loy biyodo. Etc. In Galil, they would weave in the old days or do working with wool and weaving, and there was a certain amount they would do, and they would get a certain amount of money for doing that because that was the standard price in those days. Okay. Now the Gemara says, "Pligi Rabbi Akiva v'chachamim dacha ka'atzma asa yosem haroi." So now, what happens if she presses and herself? She works overtime, we'll say, and she does more than what was fitting. Like she did arba malachos b'vasachas. She can multitask. She could do 4 works at one time. Or she's working at night. She gets up early in the morning. She's working where people don't work. So this extra go to herself for the price that she's getting, or does that go to her husband? So the machlek, and also there's a machlekes in the paiskim about this also. Who that money belong to? Ayin b'shulchan aruch Even Ezer b'beis Shmuel. He says there the kuliyama miyama sheshayich lo liyil kach bahem karka abal oichel peres. So what happens to after the extra money? What her husband does is he buys a piece of land, he can accumulate it, and then buys some land, and he gets to eat the fruits. But that's her land. Okay. And it becomes nichsei melug. Okay, whatever she does under pressed circumstances, extra, right? Extra overtime. That's not considered maisi yadel. Shahari maisehu maisha oise betava kederech kol haoretz. Now, normally maisim are what normally everybody does. Okay, aval masha oise machmas doichaka. Zenikar kimai pri chadash, but what says she does extra, she works overtime, and forces herself to work extra, that's a new fruit, pri chadash. Shehu migvuras hayadayim shelo shemotzias pri. So she works her hands very under difficult circumstances, and she produces extra fruit. You have to give to her from the fruit of her hands. That is kloimar al yera be'enei habal yitein la ishes chayil mezainos. It shouldn't be bad in the eyes of the husband to give his wife the extra because she's an ishes chayil, to give that mezainos. Even though she's not doing work in those days. I mean, Rosh Chodesh and Chanukah. The fishetachas chiyuv zeh yesh lo schus l'shleit befri yadel. Because under this obligation, she has the merit of you working with her own hands. She forces herself to work. Here's one from Maishi. Talmai. Talmai? What got to do with Talmai? Right? V'tchilas tigboris klipas hayavanim hi kshehetikoi atayra leloshin yavanim. So what happens? Talmai Yimach Shemai was the one that instituted this translating the Bible into Greek, the Septuagint they call it, right? Why do they call it Septuagint? Because in Greek, Septuagint, it means, that's a word for 70. So he brought in 70 elders in different rooms to translate, and they only made a few differences. It's brought in the Gemara and Megillah. Yeah, Shmuley and Hassan excuse me, Maishi, we're learning it now. So they brought, that was his, Talmai HaMelech was the one that did that. So Omer Gemesachas Megillah, Daf Tes, you'll get to it soon. She'azhu, Haya Choshech Ba'olam Shloisha Yamim. There was darkness in the world 3 days after they finished. The Misham Nisametz Koyach Tumas HaYavanim. And from there it increased the tuma, the impurity of the Greeks, ad shebo b'nei Chashmonaim initzcham, until the sons of Chashmonaim came and were victorious. K'moishe kasav atzemach David she'elazar shehumas al yedei Antiochus ben Atishim shana. So atzemach David says she'elazar shehumas was killed by Al Yedei Antiochus ben Tishim Shana. He was 90 years old. He was 20 years old when they translated the Torah into Greek. Anyway, everyone should have a Chag Sameach, and whatever your minhag is, you could do that. Let your wives work or not work or whatever you want, or make the latkes. Okay. Have a wonderful Shabbos, Kol Tov.